The furnace, that is not the business. So you want to own a pet crematorium. A family may pay $300 or more to receive a pet's ashes, while a new cremation machine can start in the tens of thousands. It sounds like a simple high-margin furnace business, but that machine is not the asset you think it is. One equipment manufacturer currently places pet incinerator prices at roughly $22,000 for a small veterinary unit and $89,000 or more for larger commercial systems. At a pet aftercare provider in Georgia, published individual cremation prices range from $190 for the smallest pets to $435 for animals over 150 pounds before transportation. Put those numbers together and the opportunity appears obvious. Buy the machine. Complete a few cremations each day. But now consider Gateway Services. Its investment partner says the company expanded from 4 locations and less than $10 million of revenue to more than 125 care centers and over $300 million in revenue. Gateway's own website now describes a network of more than 150 locations. Why would a cremation company need that many facilities if one modern multi-chamber system can process as many as 30 pets in a day? If the fire creates the value, one enormous crematorium should dominate an entire region. Instead, the largest operators build local routes, veterinary relationships, tracking systems, and redundant facilities. That tells us the real product is being created somewhere outside the furnace. The pet owner may see a $300 invoice. The crematorium may receive much less, and one identification error can destroy years of profit. This is a regulated logistics network handling something irreplaceable. The real product is not ash, it is certainty. Demand arrives only once. The underlying market is large. The American Pet Products Association reported that 95 million US households owned at least one pet in 2025. Dogs lived in approximately 71 million households, while cats lived in around 53 million. Not every pet will be professionally cremated, but the population creates recurring regional demand that does not depend on fashion. Each transaction begins with grief. An owner may have only minutes to choose between communal cremation, ashes returned, or taking the pet home, relying on the clinic team. The person paying may be the pet owner, but the person choosing the crematorium is often the veterinary clinic. That makes this a consumer service hidden inside a business-to-business distribution model. This distinction controls the economics. A veterinary partner can deliver hundreds of cases through one relationship, but it controls access, expectations, and often the retail price. Lose one family and one transaction disappears. Lose one clinic and years of transactions can disappear. Before understanding that sales channel, however, the owner must define exactly what is being sold. Pet cremation is 3 different products. The words used in pet aftercare can sound interchangeable. They are not. In a private cremation, only one pet is placed inside the chamber, and the resulting cremated remains are returned to that family. In an individually partitioned, separated, or segregated cremation, more than one pet may be cremated during the same cycle, but physical spacing or partitions are used to keep the remains separated. In a communal cremation, multiple pets are cremated together with no intention of returning identifiable remains to individual families. Each uses the same basic equipment but creates different throughput, labor, fuel, documentation, and pricing. A private cremation sells exclusivity. A partitioned cremation sells individual return with shared chamber efficiency. A communal cremation sells dignified disposition at the lowest price. Confuse those promises and a profitable operation can become a legal and reputational disaster. Private cremation earns the highest price but can waste the most capacity. A 20-pound cat may occupy a machine capable of handling several hundred pounds. The operator still preheats, monitors, cools, cleans, processes, verifies, packages, and records the case. Partitioned cremation increases utilization only when equipment, rules, and authorization allow it. Communal cremation can process more weight efficiently, but the selling price per pet is lower and no premium urn is required. The owner needs the best contribution per chamber hour and route stock without violating the family's promise. That promise begins before the pet reaches the facility. The veterinary clinic is the real storefront. The clinic needs an aftercare partner that collects on schedule, avoids identification mistakes, returns memorial products quickly, and never creates a complaint the veterinary team must explain. The clinic may display urn samples and service options. Its staff obtains authorization. The crematorium's driver collects the pet. Days later, the clinic receives the urn and contacts the family. The veterinary hospital is not merely a pickup location. It is the crematorium's sales channel, trust transfer, order desk, and customer service shield. That is why the route contract can be worth more than the furnace. To win that account, a new operator may offer lower wholesale pricing, more frequent collections, faster return times, free storage containers, digital tracking, staff training, customized memorial products, or better complaint handling. Collect too infrequently, and the clinic needs more refrigerated storage. Collect too often, and the van carries too few cases. Offer a 3-day turnaround, and the facility loses scheduling flexibility. Offer 50 urn designs, and inventory expands. Add engravings, prints, viewings, and ceremonies, and one process becomes dozens of emotional exceptions. Service wins the account. Standardization protects the margin. What you are actually buying. The owner needs a loading and receiving area. Remains must be checked, weighed, tagged, and placed in secure cold storage. The cremation area needs a refractory-lined retort, secondary chamber, compliant stack, gas, power, ventilation, and fire protection. After cremation, the remaining bone fragments must cool, be recovered, inspected, and processed in a cremulator into the consistency families expect. The correct remains must be matched to the correct certificate, urn, engraving, paw print, clinic, and family. The building may add an urn showroom, viewing room, warehouse, and vehicle bay. You are not buying a furnace. You are buying a refrigerated custody system, a gas-fired production line, a memorial products warehouse, a delivery fleet, a documentation platform, and a promise that none of those systems will ever confuse two pets. The equipment price is therefore the smallest version of the startup story. A compact unit may cost tens of thousands of dollars, but delivery, stack work, utilities, engineering, refrigeration, leasehold improvements, vehicles, software, inventory, and working capital can multiply the facility investment. The building must be zoned, the utility must supply enough gas, the stack must comply, and neighbors may still oppose the use, and the owner may discover that the machine was ordered before the location could legally operate it. The permit before the flame. Pet cremation rules vary by state and locality. Florida allows qualifying animal crematories to use an air general permit and lists a $100 processing fee. Texas's standard permit screen asks whether the cremator burns no more than 200 pounds per hour and sits more than 50 feet from the property line. New York requires an air permit or registration, operating records, certified supervision, temperature monitoring, and emissions compliance. A $100 permit fee does not make permitting a only $100 problem. The real cost is the building, equipment, engineering, testing, record keeping, and location that must remain compliant after the form is approved. A zoning rejection can strand a deposit on equipment. A gas connection delay can postpone opening. An emissions test failure can force modifications. A visible smoke incident can bring complaints. Operators may need certification, while records can include temperatures, dates, weights, authorizations, and prohibited material checks. The owner is purchasing the legal right to produce heat at one address under one procedure. That makes the location a hidden asset. but it can still fail if it is too far from customers. The route density reveal. Suppose one van visits 8 veterinary hospitals in a day. If those clinics are close together and each provides several cases, the driver can collect remains, return completed urns, scan every transfer, and finish the route efficiently. Now spread the same 8 clinics across 180 miles. The cremation revenue is unchanged. The transport cost is not. The driver spends more time in traffic, uses more fuel, and completes fewer useful stops. The furnace earns revenue by processing cases. The route determines whether enough cases arrive together. A full chamber with an empty van network is valuable equipment. A dense clinic network with outsourced capacity is already a business. This is why territory matters. A competitor does not need to build a better cremator to damage the owner. It can win the 3 largest clinics on one route. The remaining stops may require almost the same mileage with far fewer cases. Frequent routes improve service but reduce average load size. Less frequent routes improve vehicle economics but require more refrigeration and increase turnaround time. The operator is balancing emotional urgency against logistics efficiency. This leads to the number most owners misunderstand, the one pet reveal. Imagine a 45-pound dog receiving an individual return service through a veterinary hospital. The family may see a retail aftercare charge near $300, depending on location, urn, transport, and service level. But in an outsourced veterinary model, suppose the crematorium's wholesale service revenue is $155. This is an illustrative example, not an industry tariff. The difference may cover the clinic's staff time, storage, family communication, payment processing, and margin. Now follow the crematorium's $155. Allocate $24 to pick up and return transport. Allocate $27 to receiving, operating, processing, packaging, and administrative labor. Fuel and electricity consume $16. The basic urn, cremation container, certificate, identification materials, and packaging cost $18. Processing supplies, cleaning, and protective equipment consume $9. Software, clinic support, and payment overhead consume $5. The family paid around $300. The crematorium kept $155 of revenue and only $56 of contribution before rent, management, permits, insurance, maintenance, debt, and tax. The retail invoice and the owner's margin are not the same number. A larger dog may command a higher price but require more handling, more chamber time, more fuel, and a larger urn. A tiny pet may be easy to handle, but still require almost the same paperwork and identification. A premium urn can raise revenue while creating inventory and engraving risk. A home pickup can destroy route density if one driver crosses the city for one case. The owner therefore needs contribution by service, weight band, clinic, route, and memorial product. Average revenue per case hides too much, and none of those averages matter if the chamber schedule is wrong. The capacity trap. Equipment manufacturers describe capacity in pounds per hour, chamber weight, cycle time, or pets per day. They are not the same as billable capacity. Commercial specifications advertise cycles around 60 to 90 minutes, while one multi-chamber system promotes capacity of up to 30 pets a day. But the owner cannot simply divide machine capacity by average pet weight. Private services occupy a chamber alone. Body composition changes combustion. Large cases require careful scheduling, while every cycle needs preparation and recovery. The remains must be recovered completely before the next private case. Maintenance, staffing, and permits limit capacity, and demand never arrives in a perfectly optimized sequence. Nameplate capacity measures what the machine can burn. Economic capacity measures how many authorized, correctly identified, properly separated, processed, packaged, and returned cases the entire system can complete. A facility can therefore own spare furnace capacity while missing promised turnaround times. The bottleneck may be the driver, refrigeration, cremulator, engraving station, or final check. A second retort will not fix an earn order backlog. Selling more private cremations may raise revenue but reduce pets processed per chamber hour. The best schedule protects three things simultaneously: throughput, service promise, and identification integrity. The third is the most valuable: the product that cannot be remade. In normal manufacturing, a defective product can be replaced. In pet cremation, the input is unique and visual identification is impossible after cremation. That is why professional standards emphasize authorization, chain of custody, logs, non-combustible identification, and tracking from collection to return. Gateway advertises barcode scanning through every step, while industry training devotes an entire module to chain of custody. It is the production system. In this business, the barcode is as important as the burner. Heat converts the remains. Identification converts that process into a service a family and veterinarian can trust. Every transfer is a risk point: wrong paperwork, a missed scan, an overlooked paw print, an incorrect urn label, or a return placed on the wrong clinic shelf. Most errors begin when information separates from the physical case. The damage can travel far beyond one refund. In April 2025, Pennsylvania's Attorney General filed criminal charges against the owner of Eternity Pet Memorials, alleging deceptive business practices and theft by deception for failing to provide promised services and return the proper ashes. The state says identified victims included direct pay clients and families connected to 20 veterinary or business partners. The case is pending. This explains why clinics may not switch providers for a small discount. Trust, software, and reliable collection all raise switching costs. And those advantages explain how scale is created, how Gateway built the network. According to its investment partner, Gateway expanded from 4 locations to more than 125 care centers, increased revenue from less than $10 million to more than $300 million, and served more than 3 million pet parents annually. The company invested in proprietary software designed to improve turnaround time and save veterinary clinics time, then acquired Regency Pet in 2022. In 2025, the Federal Trade Commission described Gateway as the largest pet cremation business in the United States, with more than 100 facilities servicing 17,000 veterinary clinics across North America. Gateway's current website lists more than 150 locations and over 2,000 team members. Gateway did not scale by proving that one furnace could burn more. It scaled by placing capacity near clinics, connecting locations through software, standardizing service, buying regional operators, and making thousands of veterinary relationships harder to replace. Scale improves purchasing, routes, technology, training, and backup capacity. But one bad procedure can spread across many locations, while acquisitions introduce different terminology, software, products, and habits. The network is valuable only if scale improves consistency instead of merely increasing volume. Now we can build the independent owns numbers. The 6,000 case crematorium. Imagine a regional pet crematorium serving a dense group of veterinary clinics. It completes 6,000 cases a year, about 115 per week. Assume an initial investment of $900,000. That includes the installed system, building improvements, refrigeration, processing equipment, 2 vans, urn inventory, permits, software, and working capital. Now divide the annual cases. 35% or 2,100 pets receive communal cremation at $75, producing $157,500. 55% or 3,300 pets receive individual return service at $165, producing $544,500. The remaining 600 receive premium service at $325, producing $195,000. Memorial products and other additions create another $120,000. Total revenue reaches $1,017,000. $1 million of revenue sounds impressive. But the business must collect, identify, refrigerate, cremate, process, package, and return roughly 115 pets every week without one irreversible mistake. Now subtract the operation. Case-level materials and fuel cost $150,000. Payroll costs $325,000. Vehicles and routes cost $105,000. Rent and general utilities cost $100,000. Retort maintenance and replacement reserves cost $65,000. Insurance, compliance, software, accounting, and administration cost $82,000. Sales, veterinary support, samples, and local marketing cost $50,000. Total cash operating cost is $877,000. The crematorium produces approximately $140,000 before interest, tax, depreciation, and extraordinary capital work. That is an operating return of roughly 15.6% on the initial $900,000 investment. The volume shock. Reduce case volume by 20%. The facility now processes 4,800 pets instead of 6,000. Revenue falls to approximately $813,600 if service mix remains stable. Fuel, earns, and some labor decline. Rent, software, management, and much of the route do not. Assume total operating cost falls from $877,000 to $788,000. The $140,000 operating profit becomes only $25,600. A 20% fall in cases has erased more than 80% of operating profit. The furnace became less busy, but the route, building, refrigeration, staff, compliance, and maintenance remained waiting for volume. Now shift the 600 premium cases to a $165 service. Revenue falls by $96,000. Shared cycles and simpler service may save $15,000. Operating profit still falls from $140,000 to roughly $59,000. The value of the promise changed. Now lose clinics representing 25% of volume. The competitor adds those cases to existing routes while the original owner keeps driving through the same territory. This is negative route leverage. Volume moves faster than cost. Fuel price risk exists, but labor, transport, and clinic retention can matter more. The business is heated by gas. It is economically powered by density. When the retort stops, now the main cremator suffers refractory damage and shuts down for 2 weeks. At normal volume, more than 230 cases arrive during that period. The owner can delay returns, expand cold storage, pay a competitor, or divert cases to a second facility. Delayed families call the clinic, and clinic staff demand answers. Outsourcing protects turnaround time, but transfers margin and custody. Storage creates time, not completion. A broken furnace does not stop demand. It turns tomorrow's work into today's refrigerated liability. The stronger owner buys maintenance, backup capacity, and emergency agreements before the breakdown, not after the coolers are full. This is why a second retort can be insurance before it becomes growth capacity. Too little redundancy makes one failure existential. Too much lowers return on capital. The owner must price the cost of downtime against the cost of idle equipment, and the same calculation now includes a competing technology. Water without flame, alkaline hydrolysis, often called aquamation or hydrocremation, uses water, alkali, temperature, and time instead of direct flame, leaving mineral bone material for processing and return. Cornell currently offers individual hydrocremation for most companion animals up to 100 pounds at $115. An owner who believes families are buying fire may miss the market. Families are usually buying dignified care, reliable identification, and a meaningful return. Any legal technology that delivers those outcomes can compete for the same customer and group service at $35. Those institutional prices are not directly comparable with a commercial service, including routes and premium products, but they show that flame is not the only technology. Hydrocremation can offer different environmental positioning, but introduces new equipment, wastewater, cycle time regulation, and customer education requirements. Some families prefer flame, others prefer water. An operator may offer both, partner, or choose one and explain it clearly. The weak operator buys new equipment without confirming legality, wastewater acceptance, throughput, or demand. Technology does not create the market, distribution does. Where the real profit moves, the basic cremation converts remains into processed mineral material. The margin moves toward whoever controls trust at the moment of loss. The veterinarian, the aftercare counselor, the tracking platform, the premium memorial product, or the brand the family contacts directly. The higher value service converts the process into reassurance, memory, and convenience. Margin can move towards same-day service, home collection, viewings, customized urns, paw prints, jewelry, memorial stones, and digital tributes. These products raise revenue but create more promises. A correct cremation with a forgotten paw print can still create permanent disappointment. The best add-on is the one delivered accurately every time. Direct-to-consumer service captures more retail price but requires advertising, phone coverage, home pickups, reviews, and a welcoming facility. The veterinary wholesale model sacrifices part of the retail margin but receives aggregated demand. A hybrid model may be strongest. Clinic routes provide base volume. Direct families buy premium service. Communal cases improve utilization. And software protects custody. The owner is not maximizing one line. They are designing a system in which every line supports the others. The ownership traps. The first trap is buying the retort before securing zoning, air approval, utilities, and the stack design. The second is forecasting from retail prices when the crematorium may receive only the clinic's wholesale rate. The third is measuring capacity only in pounds per hour. Private exclusivity, staffing, maintenance, and processing determine billable throughput. The fourth is treating collection as free. A sparse route can consume every case's contribution. The fifth is competing only on price and winning volume the facility cannot process on time. The sixth is using vague language. Private, petitioned, individual, and communal services must mean the same thing on the form and inside the facility. The seventh is allowing identification to separate from the pet, scan transfers, reconcile exceptions, and prevent bypasses. The eighth is underfunding maintenance and refrigeration. One failure creates an immediate backlog. The ninth is offering too many memorial products before quality control can support them. The 10th is relying on one veterinary group. One contract can create scale and remove it. The 11th is ignoring emotional labor. Poor training and burnout create mistakes. The final trap is believing demand guarantees margin. Recurring demand does not guarantee profitable routes or repeat clinic trust. The ownership verdict. So what separates a valuable pet crematorium from an expensive furnace in an industrial building? A dense network of veterinary relationships, a chain of custody that never breaks, and enough operational discipline to turn a one-time act of trust into a repeatable service. A strong owner secures the site before the machine and builds clinic density before excess capacity. They define every service and no contribution by case, clinic, route, chamber hour, and add-on. They use refrigeration to manage timing, not hide backlog, and maintain verified backup capacity. They invest in durable identification, barcode tracking, exception reports, training, and final reconciliation. They treat every paw print as part of the core product and reserve cash for breakdowns. A weak owner sees a $300 invoice and buys a furnace. They rent the cheapest building, assume veterinarians will send cases, Promise private service without private capacity. Treat the driver as an expense. Add products without quality control and postpone maintenance. Then one clinic leaves. The route remains. The retort breaks. The coolers fill. Staff rush. A barcode is skipped. And a business built on irreversible trust discovers that there is no inventory, discount, or apology capable of manufacturing the correct remains again. The most dangerous pet crematorium is not one with an empty chamber. The owner sees that problem immediately. It is a busy facility whose volume is growing faster than its ability to protect identity. The economics form a chain. The veterinarian controls access. The route controls collection cost. Refrigeration controls time. The retort and permit control throughput. Tracking controls identity. Memorial products control revenue. And trust determines whether the clinic sends the next case. So are you buying a crematorium? Only partly. You are buying a veterinary distribution network, a regulated facility, refrigerated logistics, memorial products, and custody of something irreplaceable. In the strongest model, dense routes feed standardized operations. Premium options increase revenue without increasing errors, and backup capacity protects the promise. In the weakest model, the owner has a powerful machine, scattered clinics, vague service definitions, and a manual tracking process held together by careful employees who are never allowed to make a mistake. The furnace performs the cremation. The route creates the volume. The memorial creates the price. But the chain of custody creates the asset. A family may receive an urn, but what they really purchased was the certainty that the pet they loved was treated with dignity and returned correctly. The day an owner forgets, that is the day the furnace keeps working, and the business begins to burn.